Mm-hmm.
But there were times when I couldn't lift my left shoulder and I was grinding my teeth at night. So this is so crazy to say, because people that know me will be like, what? But I am a proponent of joy in your life. And I know that sounds oversimplified, but really, if you can do work that brings you joy and makes you happy, you absolutely should do it. Find a way to monetize those things.
Hey, what's going on? I hope you all really enjoyed this conversation that I had a while back on a previous platform that I created called Brothers Learning from Sisters. This is a conversation that I had with Sybil Bailey. She is like everything skincare. Like, she is literally like the OG, triple OG of everything skincare. And I learned a lot. And I felt this may be a really cool conversation for you to really listen to, as she also talks about her achieving impact and fulfillment in her course of career. So y'all dive in and let me know what you think about my conversation with Sybil Bailey, the creator of Afro Mermaid Skincare. Welcome to Impact and Fulfillment with Coach Mike D, where you'll gain practical wisdom and dynamic insight from amazing conversations to live your best life. This is a really cool conversation, right? Really, really cool conversation. And this is going to be a conversation around something that, to be completely honest, brothers don't pay a whole lot of attention to, and that's skincare. Yeah, real talk. We're going to talk skincare today. And I have none other than Sybil Bailey. She is the creator of Afro Mermaid Skincare. She's a Knoxville, Tennessee native, a voracious, I can't get that word out, voracious reader. But then she's also a skincare enthusiast. And real talk, you know, a friend of ours, we got to give a shout out to Lamecia Butler McFarland, I call her L, for connecting us, because, you know, she was just like, you know, there are two folks in Knoxville that I highly respect, that are good friends of mine, that are doing the doggone thing. You two need to connect. So we got to give a shout out to our friend L for bringing us together here. But the whole concept of skincare, and I thought about brothers learning from sisters, and skincare is not something we put an emphasis on a whole lot as brothers. So what better to do than bring on a skincare expert, the creator of Afro Mermaid Skincare, Miss Sybil Bailey. How you doing?
I'm good. Excited to be here and talk about my passion.
Talk about your passion. Talk about your passion. Now, so before we jump into your passion, we're going to get into you and your story a little bit. And before we get into that, we'd like to get some shout outs, because who are we without our team, our friends, our family, the people that help us to be the best version of ourselves. So give some shout outs and then we'll jump into your story.
Oh, wow. I know how people feel on stage accepting an award, because I'll be mortified if I forget anybody. So let's just say for my business to come to fruition, the stars aligned. People that I knew with the right skills stepped up and gifted me things. So shout out to the Thought Bureau for my branding. Shout out to Crystal Martin for photography. Shout out to Ethan Brewer for photography space, my models, my girlfriends, my former coworkers. People literally lined up to support me. And I get a little weepy now still thinking about it.
That's amazing. And, you know,
it really is.
You know, there's, and I've mentioned this on other platforms and interviews and all, there's a book, and it's one of my favorite books of all time. It's called The Alchemist. And in The Alchemist, it's a book by Paulo Coelho. The theme of The Alchemist states that if you pursue your personal legend, the universe conspires to help you along on your journey. And your personal legend is, you know, your calling or your purpose. And as you start pursuing that, all these things start to align. And as we mentioned before, and this is probably a good segue into your journey, you know, you mentioned that you're a skincare enthusiast. This is your passion. And as you started to pursue that passion, like you just mentioned, in your support system here, the things started to line up, and it's like that path started to clear. And so speaking of that, take us back to your journey. Like, how did you become a skincare enthusiast, or what really was the inspiration behind that in your life?
So I've always loved like skincare and hair and nails and those kind of things. You know, when I was younger in my 20s, I was the one that did girlfriends' nails and toenails, and I just liked beauty and more than that, taking care of people.
Mhm.
My journey to this place started when I left corporate America.
Hmm.
The timing was right for me to leave the company that I had been with for about 14 years, uh, that I loved the people I worked with. It was a great place to be, but I had absolutely no passion for it.
Hmm.
So when the time came for me to leave, I thought, what would I do if I could do anything I wanted to do? And it was literally beauty school.
Hmm.
So at 49, I enrolled at Tennessee School of Beauty with a lot of really, really young ladies who also taught me a lot along the way. And it was just a joy. I loved it. And I'm so thankful that I took that leap. It was scary then, and it's scary now, even talking about it. I didn't do it on my own. I had the support of my husband. I don't know if I would have been brave enough to do it completely on my own. Nevertheless, I'm glad it's done. So yeah, from corporate my whole life, the most recent job being for years, to this brand new thing just was exactly what I needed. My entire life, I've heard people say, if you do what you love, you'll
Hmm.
never work a day in your life. And I was like, well, sure. And it turns out that that is absolutely true, because there is never a day that I come here and I'm not looking forward to it.
Hmm.
For one client or six clients, I love it every day.
I want to jump into something there. You know, you mentioned that the time was right for you to step out of corporate America, but then you also mentioned that you were led to enroll in school at not an early age, right? And to that point, it's interesting because I think a lot of ladies and a lot of guys listening to this, you know, sometimes we put these parameters on when change can happen or when I can do things. Like, you know, like I'll be 41 in, you know, a couple of weeks here. And what's interesting is my contemporaries will talk, you know, in this whole, you know, defeatist scenario. Oh, well, you know, we on the back end of this and the back end of that. I'm like, dude, I mean, granted, we don't know how long we got. I mean, our timeline is not determined by us, but the reality is whether we got another 6 months or another 60 years, you need to live life as if, you know, this thing's going to continue. So to me, I mean, you mentioned the support system around you, but I bet you there was still some trepidation on going back to school and not being 19 or 20 years old, right?
Oh, for sure.
How did you push through that?
So I came of age in a time where you absolutely, positively had to go to college or you shamed your parents and every ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
You needed to go to college and you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was extra pressure on me because before college, I was brilliant. I
Mm-hmm.
skipped a couple of grades. I
Mm-hmm.
just enjoyed learning,
Mm-hmm.
but man, college was not for me.
Mm.
I did not enjoy it. And I got about 75% of a journalism degree and finally just gave up.
Mm.
I
Wow.
wish that back then I could have gone to beauty school.
Ooh, pause. See, that's an interesting concept because as we, you know, I have a 9 and a 7-year old, right? And a lot of times we get very dogmatic in what they need to do and the path they need
Mm-hmm.
to take. And I've come to understand that it's not my job to push them in a direction. It's my job to analyze and see where they have natural proclivities, where they have interests, where they have gifts, where they have skills, and pour gasoline on those fires early. Because, and it's not me trying to direct them into a path. Like I interviewed a brother on Black Fathers Now, and one of the things that he talked about was as a parent, you have to take, or as a father, you have to take ego out of it. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he said, the thing is, a lot of times as parents, we want to be known as good parents. It's a difference between being known as a good parent and just being a good parent. See, being known as a good parent is I want to raise 2 doctors, or I want to have 2 lawyers. I want everybody to talk about my kids went to Ivy Leagues and my kids did this and my kids did that. And the thing is, if we're honest about it, that's an ego boost for us versus taking a step back and realizing what is it that our kids need. Because, and I think we're kind of coming into that awakening in this day and age with technology and awareness and all of that. Because to your point, fast forward to now, there's a little girl or a little guy coming up now that's 10, 11, 12 years old that's into hair care and skin care and all of that. And their parents can see like, hold up, you know, maybe you do need to go to cosmetology school. Let's pour some gasoline on this fire now. You can cut hair and do this while you're in high school. But then after that, we need to send you to cosmetology school instead of sending you to the university to get a degree in journalism.
Yeah, I think that I don't have any children, but I used to be one. And I think that
I love
the best gift that you can give your babies is encouraging their joy. And I'm sure we've all had enough soul-sucking jobs to know that that is no way to spend your life. Your life is what happens outside of work, but you can't discount how much time you spend at work. If you take away sleeping hours, you're there more than anywhere else. So if that can be time that brings you joy, it absolutely should be. Because, you know, my corporate job, I made excellent money, but there were times when I couldn't lift my left shoulder and I was grinding my teeth at night. So this is so crazy to say, because people that know me will be like, what? But I am a proponent of joy in your life. And I know that sounds oversimplified, but really, if you can do work that brings you joy and makes you happy, you absolutely should do it. Find a way to monetize those things.
Yes. Like you mentioned, and it's like, we also have to remove the concept that simple is not good, right? Because what you just mentioned there, yes, it's simple, but guess what? We can execute on simple. We can't execute on this complex, whatever, 50 layered, 12,000 step plan. No, simple is what you execute on. You know, I even have written down over there next to my notes, you know, simple, purpose-driven execution. Like, that's my focus. Because sometimes I go down rabbit holes and I get too complex with stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you, complexity is a defense mechanism for me to then give me an out to not do it because it was hard. Like, I've learned that about myself. When you spend time with yourself, you understand it. Whereas if I really want to execute, I have to keep it simple. Simple, purpose-driven execution is my focus. Otherwise, it probably ain't going to get done.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good segue into skincare, because you are not alone in that thinking. And one of the things that I stress to my clients is this does not have to be complicated and involve 12 steps. It literally can be as little or as much as you need or feel like you need to correct issues that you have. It's really, the basis of it is consistency. I'm constantly saying that to every client I have. Consistency makes for beautiful skin.
So when you say consistency and beautiful skin, and again, brothers learning from sisters, you know, talk to the brothers, because when you say consistency, what do you mean? I just need to take my showers and put my lotion on? I mean, what is it that you think literally, you know, there's a guy on the radio, his name Joe Madison. He always says you got to put it where the goats can get it. Right. So when you're talking this skincare, this skincare stuff, you got to put it where the goats can get it. Like, before we got started, I told you, like, my wife got stuff in there and she gets mad at me because I might use the wrong expensive stuff, putting it all over my head. And she's like,
and a whole lot of it, I'm sure.
Say what?
Yes, I said, and a whole lot of it, using more than you need too.
Yeah. So tell me what stuff. Yeah. So literally break it down, like, for real, like, treat me like an elementary. I don't know nothing about skincare. Talk to us. What do you mean by consistency? What are you talking about?
So let's start with some of the tips that I give clients that I've seen the most light bulbs go off over people's heads. And let's see how you fare.
Okay.
Wash your hands before you wash your face.
But aren't I washing my hands when I wash my face? Because it's a soap, right?
No, sir. This dirt that was on your hands is now mixed with that soap and rubbed all over your face.
But isn't that an
So cleanse your
exfoliation?
hands before you cleanse your face.
Isn't that exfoliation
That's
then?
disgusting. No. Okay, so number 2, cleanse your skin for 60 seconds.
So like rub it for 60 seconds?
Nobody. 60 seconds. Count to 60.
Really? Now, is that just
Most
my
people
face
cleanse
or
their
my whole
skin.
body?
I mean, let's start with your face and work up to the rest of you.
Okay.
But cleanse your facial skin for 60 seconds. Most people average about 20 seconds, which doesn't give the product, whether it's like natural soap that you made on the back porch or something that you've gotten from a doctor's office or an esthetician. It doesn't give whatever's in the product time to work. If you slam it on, wipe, rinse it off.
Mm-hmm.
You're just wasting stuff.
Okay.
A lot of clients of various ages are still suffering from breakouts.
Okay.
And a lot of that's brought on because we're wearing masks currently as well. Clean your phone regularly. If anybody even still talks on the phone. But if you're pressing it up against your face, you need to clean it regularly.
Okay.
This one is terrifying, but a lot of times, and I've changed the way I ask this question now. I don't say how often do you change your sheets, because there have been answers that made me want to flee this room. So what I say is change your pillowcase regularly.
What does regularly mean?
I mean,
because look again, remember, you talking to dudes here. You're I mean, again, I'm married now, so it happens a little more frequently than it used to. But you talking about, like, back in the day, that towel stays hung up from the shower until it's so wet that it can't dry me off no more.
Wait, you are not alone in that.
Brothers learning from sisters.
Okay,
I'm learning. Right. So look, no judgment here.
None. I would suggest that you change your entire bed once a week.
Okay.
If that's too much for you, buy some extra pillowcases and change that pillowcase like every 3rd day.
Gotcha.
Flip it over and use the clean side. So you get 2 out of what, but it's all the places that bacteria could be that contribute to breakouts on our faces.
Interesting. Wow. Wash hands first before washing your face. Scrub for 60 seconds. Clean your phone.
Scrub.
Huh? What'd you say?
Nobody said scrub.
See, again, that's what I'm saying. I need help here. So
I'm glad you read it back.
That's it. So it's not scrub. So it's clean. Massage your face with the cleaner for 60 seconds. Okay.
Yes.
Clean your phone if you put it up against your face. Change your bed at least once a week, and your pillowcase probably every 3 days or so. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And
because your pillowcase will absorb everything from your hair or lack of. My husband shaves his head as well, but there's still skin rolling off of that. So
absolutely.
Hair, drool, who knows what all's going on. But change your pillowcase.
And so change that, and then and those are some regular. Honestly, everything there. I probably need to improve upon. Just to be completely transparent with you. Now the bed gets changed. Again, I'm married, so that gets done. She's good on that. But she helps us there. She helps me there. But so fellas, if you're listening to this, and some ladies who listening to that don't realize or hadn't thought about it, make sure to take heed to some of those routine activities. Now, what about as far as skincare regimens or things that you should do, in addition to that?
So when you come in to see me for a facial or do a virtual consultation or just any interaction with me where you have an appointment, I typically do just my signature facial, which is cleanse and tone and exfoliate, extraction, various things. We'll talk about that later. But as far as a facial routine at home, you have to pick products that will work with your skin. Typically, those should be recommended by an esthetician or maybe your dermatologist if you've got one that you trust. Another reason that I went into skincare is because here locally in Knoxville, Tennessee, I was unable to find a dermatologist that works with Black and brown skin on a regular basis. They may have a client here or there, but
they're not experts in Black skin.
Anybody that works with it regularly.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Although
you can't find...
I think I may have found.
Oh, good.
I may have found one, but that remains to be seen. I'll pass it along when I know.
Absolutely.
But what you really need to do is cleanse, exfoliate, moisturize, and this is a big one, sunscreen.
Woo! Now check. Okay.
We need sunscreen.
Now again, I got this bald head here, right? And it's interesting. So cleanse, exfoliate, moisturize, and sunscreen. So this whole sunscreen thing has really popped up in the last couple of years, primarily because we have kids, right? But the reality is I grew up in Augusta, Georgia, right? Where in the summertime, it was 98 degrees and, sun beating down, you cutting the grass, playing basketball, shirt off, no clothes on, whatever. You're out there just doing your thing in the sun. And honestly, growing up, never had any issues with that. Like, it was just like, it's just hot outside. You sweat and it is what it is. When I was about a year or so after college, me and some of the fellas went to Miami. And we went down to Miami and we were on the beach all day being young and, wild and all of that stuff. On the beach all day. And literally, when we got back to the hotel, I jumped in the shower and I turned the shower on and I was like, what is that? What? Like literally my back, my head, my nose. I was like, I grew up in Augusta, Georgia in 98 degrees, 100 degrees, middle of the sun. I have never been sunburned in my life. I went to Miami that one time and literally the top of my head, my shoulders, my nose, I looked like the dog on some toxic crusader or something. My face was peeling. It was wild. And so at that point, I was just like, okay, us Black folks need a sunscreen too. But talk to us a little bit.
We really do. We really do. And for several reasons, the incidence of skin cancer in Black and brown skin is lower than it is in other people, but it still can happen. That's the most important issue, I think. Number two is some of the problems that I corrected in my studio. One of the biggest things I see is hyperpigmentation. And that is where there's been injury to skin and that injury leaves a scar or a darkened place, like a pimple or a scratch, and it leaves a scar. There are ways with consistency to treat those and even them out. But if you don't wear sunscreen, you're working against yourself. You gotta wear sunscreen. I have a similar incident that you had that happened to me in Cancun. And like I peeled to the pink meat on my nose.
Wow.
And it takes a lot to damage brown skin like that. You and I both ought to be ashamed. But you gotta do it. You got to. And you gotta put it on your face, your head, your ears, exposed skin. Ladies, gentlemen, if you don't want alligator necks and chests, if your chest and neck is out, put it on out there. It doesn't matter if it's a cloudy day. It doesn't matter if it's raining. Just wear it every day.
So hold on. That's a good point. So literally, it's not just when it's hot and sunny outside. We should have sunscreen on no matter what.
Every day. You don't have to be going to play tennis. You can just be going outside. When we were in school, my instructor showed us some slides from people like maybe a long haul trucker and the difference in the side of the face that was facing the window and the other one.
Wow. And
tinted windows on the truck, but years of driving had made a marked difference in that side of the face. So we need to wear sunscreen.
That's, it's interesting. Like, because again, and you know, the title of your, you know, your business, you know, is Afro Mermaid Skincare. And so again, I think about the Afro part to it, right? And when I think about us, African descent, being from close to the equator, and I think about the continent of Africa, and I think about even like in the Caribbean and things of that sort, like, are you familiar with like some of the natural regimens that are done on a regular basis? Because, you know, you don't hear about the brothers on the continent getting sunburned neither. Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, now, and this is not scientific.
Okay. Yeah.
This is just what I think. We here are a tad watered down.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Gotcha.
not the same as the brothers on the continent.
Gotcha.
I think that the ozone is a lot different than it was back in the day. I bet that, I'm going to research this. I bet people in Africa get sunburned, and I bet there's an incidence of skin cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that there's a lot of reasons why we should wear it, the least of which is for vanity. It definitely is a health issue, and it's easy to do. Like, I sell a sunscreen that I myself have it double as my moisturizer during the day. So it's literally all I put on during the day. Okay. I do my 17-step routine at night.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, we go back to the concept of, because you mentioned consistency being important, right? And you mentioned cleanse, exfoliate, moisturize, sunscreen. So you mentioned sunscreen should be done basically whatever's going to be exposed outside needs to be hit with some sunscreen. What about the, you know, I guess the frequency of like cleansing, exfoliation, and moisturization and moisturizing, and talk to what it, I mean, I think I understand exfoliating, but I thought I was exfoliating with the dirt from my hands and washing my face. But talk to, like, literally, you got to put it where the goats can get it. When it comes to exfoliate, what do you mean by that? And what type of frequency do we need with that?
So it depends on the skin, of course. Oilier skin can take exfoliation more often. But you have to be careful what kind of products you use for that exfoliation. There's a running joke in the aesthetics community that the factory that makes St. Ives scrub should be burned to the ground, because those are like rubbing little sharp rocks all over your face, and that does nobody any good. It makes micro tears in your skin, so you end up with more pimples because those get infected anyway. Exfoliation products should be picked by your skincare professional. And deeper exfoliation can be done during a treatment here. I do manual exfoliation. One of those is something I call dermaplaning. This is going to be scary, but I'm going to tell you. I take a number 10 scalpel.
Whoa, well, hold up, doctor. What you continue.
I take a number 10 scalpel and gently scrape the dead skin buildup from your face.
Okay, stop for a second. Stop. See, okay. Now we're gonna pivot into trust, because if I sit down, that's why, you know, if I step in for some facial treatment, you and I, if you're talking about I'm about to pull a scalpel out, okay, we're gonna have us a few conversations prior.
Absolutely. I had to have those conversations with my mom. It took me a couple of weeks to get her to submit. But that's a good physical exfoliation. Another way that I exfoliate here is you can do chemical exfoliation. You can do that with enzymes, or you can do that with acids. So it just, after I've talked to you a little bit about what you're currently doing and the issues you'd like to approach, whether it just be healthier skin or you have a specific problem that you want to address, then I can recommend those kinds of products and the frequency with which you should come and visit me.
That's interesting. So exfoliation. And then as far as cleansing is concerned, again, you're talking to a guy, it's just like, okay, whatever bar of soap we got in there is what, you know, I'm washing my body and my face and everything with. And, you know, when the shower's done, okay, I done wash my face. Help a brother out.
I think, as a rule, once we progress beyond the teenage sort of 20s breakout era of our life, we should switch cleansers to something that doesn't have a lot of alcohol and doesn't necessarily foam up. That's something that's sort of difficult to convince people, because if there's no bubbles, am I really clean?
Yep. See, that's what I'm thinking.
The biggest thing is to cleanse your skin without stripping it of its natural barrier. The natural barrier is what makes skin healthy. So you only need to clean it. You don't need squeaky clean skin.
That's, it's interesting because, like, when you say that, I was listening, or I was talking to my sister-in-law who's a dentist, and she was telling us, because, like when you brush your teeth, I was like, I like the hard bristles because I like to feel like I'm scrubbing my teeth. And she was just like,
yes,
no, because when the toothbrushes that you get from the dentist office are usually soft bristle, or at most like medium at most, but usually they like to focus on the soft, because you don't want to strip your teeth of, I guess, the enamel by going overboard.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned that about skincare, it triggered a thought to dental care or dental hygiene as well. That's interesting. I never thought about the squeaky clean is not what you want.
Yeah. And I'm always amazed still continually about how many, not necessarily bad habits, but how we're all doing the same things that we could be better. Like a lot of times when I'm treating somebody, I like to feel before I look, to feel what's going on their face. And the high planes of the face, the cheeks and the forehead, often are really dry. And I know it's because they're scrubbing their face. And you don't have to be rough like that. Let's all woosah and be gentle with ourselves. You can get the job done without brushing your toothbrush flat.
Wow, that's real.
Or scrubbing your face. You let the products do the work.
Oh, see, and that's interesting. So let the products do the work. So I guess that means you probably need to make sure you have good products.
Absolutely.
See, it's interesting. Like, when you have to, it's like funny even thinking about it. Like, I like to make associations. That's how I make it real to myself, right? So I think about, like, in the kitchen, when you have a dull knife, right? You got to work hard to cut your vegetables or cut your meat because the knife is dull. Whereas you go to somebody else's kitchen, or you buy a new set of knives, or you get them sharpened, and you're like, whoa, this thing is so much easier. Because the knives are sharper, right? It's like you have good tools. The same thing with golf. When people play golf, if you got some clubs that ain't all that great and you don't know what you're doing, you're trying to force it. Whereas if you got really good clubs and you understand form and all of that, you let the club do the work, right?
Absolutely.
And so you mentioned let the products do the work. So that means we need to have really good products. And I'll be honest, this is on my end here. I'm naturally an El Cheapo. I'm trying to find an economical way out, right? Where are ways that we should skimp and ways that we should not skimp as it pertains to skincare?
So I think that, wow, my mind is going in so many directions. So I'm going to ramble and you pick out what
it's
you need.
It's all good. Bring it all. We need it all.
So I think that all drugstore brands are not bad. I'm not one of those estheticians that's like, ew, you've used something you bought at Walgreens. A lot of times dermatologists will recommend CeraVe or Lubriderm or some of those things. And I like to say that those won't hurt you, but they won't help you either.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, when you're looking for a skincare professional, look for somebody that's willing to take the time to get to know you, your background, what you're trying to do with your skin, is good with product knowledge, and can aim you in the direction for drugstore products or the line that they sell.
Well, let me.
For Black and people of color,
I was going to ask you something there because the thing too though is, I mean, I guess I'm being selfish and asking, you know, are there areas that we could potentially financially cut corners versus having to go out, and are there like for instance, you mentioned the cleanser, exfoliation, moisturization, sunscreen. Are there buckets where it's like, okay, if you're gonna try to, you know, go not spending a whole lot of money in these buckets, this is where you can go. But on the flip side, you do not need to skimp on this. Are there certain buckets like that? Because again, I ain't gonna lie, when we start talking too much on the specifics of it, it's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be like, man, look, I'm just gonna keep my skin the way it is. I ain't spending X, Y, and Z for no doggone bottle of lotion. You know?
Okay, point taken. I hear you now. Got
Okay.
you. I guess it depends on what you want to do with your skin. If you have issues you want to address that make better, you absolutely need to use professional skincare.
Okay.
Because nothing that you can buy at Target or the drugstore is going to have the concentration of active ingredients that you need to fix anything.
Bingo.
To fix hyperpigmentation with drugstore products could take 2 years. To fix them with medical grade products could take 3 months.
Ding.
So
that's it. Okay, gotcha.
It's results driven. If you're just if there are people out there who want to just maintain what they've got going on, they really don't have any interest in professional skincare. Just tell me what I could use. You know, those middle of the road things, Lubriderm, CeraVe, they've got moisturizers, they've got sunblocks, they've got cleansers. Dermatologists recommend them all the time, but that's just going to clean your face.
Gotcha. Okay, now that makes, and that's what I was just trying to understand, because I understand, like, obviously you can probably go as expensive as you want and spend thousands of dollars on this specific serum that you can get from the Amazon or from, you know, Central Congo. It came from, you know, you can find something like that. But then you could also, to your point, just what's the cheapest thing on the shelf at your grocery store. And and I just wanted to kind of get your perspective on, like, you know, because again, like, I always try to find value, but I also want to know what's best and what areas you should not cut corners. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've been programmed. I can't bring myself to tell you.
I'm gonna tell you, everything that you've given thus far it's been eye-opening for me. Like, it's one of those things where it's really gonna challenge me. And, you know, when my wife hears it, she's gonna be like, see, you see why I need to do this? And I'm like, oh, okay, I got you. But so you didn't just help her out. I mean, to be honest. But real talk, like, this is so important because I'm gonna be honest with you, skincare and dudes, we really don't prioritize it. Most of us don't. You know, it's just kind of like whatever's available, we do it. And we don't understand that there are potential ramifications to not taking care of your skin. And it's not just the aesthetics and the look. There are health, you know, ramifications to not taking care of your skin. You mentioned, you know, skin cancer and, you know, using the wrong stuff, which can open up windows to infection and all of that stuff. I mean, we need to know these things. And I appreciate you as an expert sharing you know, all of this so that we can grow and become better. Again, this is brothers learning from sisters.
You know, something else I wanted to share for people that may see this that don't live in my area, because I'm hoping all of you that do are going to come and see me.
Yes. So we're going to get your contact info.
Looking for an esthetician.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
When you're looking for an esthetician in your area, some things that I think you should look for, of course, are licensing, inspections, insurance. Don't just roll in somebody's room and lay down and let them take a scalpel to your face.
Ooh, please don't.
Yeah. Make sure that their space is clean. Make sure that you've read their reviews. On your first visit with that person, I think that you should make a list of the questions that you want to answer. Jot down some notes of the things that you're using now. In a lot of cases with my clients, gosh, in so many cases, they're using too much.
Mm.
And they're using a mishmash of stuff. Like, yes, you can use different products from different lines that may work together, but you may be using two products that are working against each other. And when you use things from the same line, they were formulated to work together, to build off one another. So there's a price point out there for everybody. Like you said, you can go really, really expensive, or you can go drugstore, but you have to be strategic about the way you put those things together, and you have to use them. I can't see you 6 weeks from now and you say, it's not working. Well, are you using it every day? No. Because then you're just wasting your money and time and mine. Frankly.
You said consistency earlier.
Yeah.
See, you dropped it. I mean, I think that's the whole point there. And I hope y'all paid attention to that. If you're looking for an esthetician in your local environment, you know, things to pay attention to. She gave you some game there. Licensing, their inspections, insurance, cleanliness, the reviews that others have left. Also, if you're going and visiting with them, make sure you make notes of the questions that you want to ask and that you want answers to. But really keep that in mind if you don't live in Knoxville, Tennessee, because if you live in Knoxville, you need to go visit Afro Mermaid Skincare, because Sybil Bailey need to be your esthetician to help you with all your skincare needs. But if you're out of Knoxville and you're looking for one for a personal relationship, be mindful of the info that she dropped there, because those are things to look for. But on the flip side of that, if you're not in Knoxville, don't you do like virtual consults as well?
I do. I added those at a time when we couldn't all get out of the house and see each other in person, and they've been pretty successful. We spend some time talking about some of the things that we've talked about today, you know, what you're doing now, what you'd like to address, and go from there. I even have samples that I can send out from virtual consultations, so that helps as well.
And so, into that so anybody listening to this, any place in the world, if they're wanting to connect with Sybil Bailey for Afro Mermaid Skincare and really get a consult, what's the best way to connect with you? Is it a website, phone number? How do they do so?
The best way to connect with me is with my website, and it's afromermaidskincare.com. There's a list of services there. You would book a virtual consultation like you would any other appointment. Okay. And once you book the service, I would contact you about how we'll get on video chat, what method we'll use. Okay.
Gotcha. So afromermaidskincare.com. I'll make sure to have that in the show notes. So anybody listening, you just go down and you click on afromermaidskincare.com. Schedule, if you're not in Knoxville or you're not within driving distance of Knoxville, schedule a virtual consult, and you can literally get blessed by all of this information, this wisdom. But what's most important is this passion. That's this thing that's been inside of her for decades that she's been sitting on. And then all of a sudden, the time was right for her to go get the official training to match with the passion. And now she has this organization, this thing right here that can really serve you and bring the best out of your skincare regimen. So y'all definitely go to afromermaidskincare.com and reach out, get that virtual consult. Again, anywhere in the world, she'll work with your time zone, you know, and yeah. And the thing too, though, is being Black folks, being African Americans, you know, it's always good to find someone who understands your journey, understands your story, and understands some of the things that we're dealing with from a skincare perspective. And you're going to get that with Sybil Bailey.
Yes, you will. You know, one last thing, even outside of skincare, not to toot my own horn, but beat, there's magic in these hands. Take care of yourselves. Come get loved on. Somebody to take care of you and your skin. It makes you feel better. It makes you look better. It's good for you. It's an hour where you get to relax and the focus is on you. And right now, more than ever, we need that.
So I hope y'all are listening to that. So that's ladies and the fellas.
Absolutely.
Get yourself taken care of. You know, self-care has been a huge theme over the last couple of years. And when you think self-care, we don't always define what self-care is, because it's like this umbrella, self-care. Well, what is that? Is that travel? Is that, hanging out? Is that massage and facials and what skincare? I mean, what is self-care? And the thing about self-care is it's self-care. So whatever care your self needs, you need to do that. That's the guys and the ladies. Okay. And Sybil Bailey with Afro Mermaid Skincare can be part of your self-care regimen to bring out that shine. Let that,
absolutely.
What they say, black don't crack. Well, you helping that black to not crack, right?
Yes.
I love it. I love
yes.
it. And so from a contact information perspective, y'all make sure to visit afromermaidskincare.com. If you're in Knoxville, visit and go by and check her out. If you're outside of Knoxville, make sure to visit and schedule a virtual consult, because literally she gonna change your life. Like she done changed mine just in our conversation right here. So I want to tell you, thank you for sharing with us today. And so
thank you for the conversation, Michael. This was absolutely lovely.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I know I did. And I learned a lot.
I was nervous for no reason.
Yeah, I know. I told you. See, look, you were telling me how nervous you're going to be and all of that. And guess what? You the star of the show. I'm just here to pull out gems. That's all I'm here to do. Well, hey, fellas and ladies,
thank you very
listen,
much.
No problem at all. No problem at all. We're going to do this again. And so everybody listening to Brothers Learning from Sisters, I hope y'all have enjoyed this. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share this thing out. We want everybody across the world to hear about Brothers Learning from Sisters, hear these dynamic conversations in which I and brothers are learning from dynamic and powerful sisters on looking at things from different vantage points so that we can become the best versions of ourselves. And make sure to visit afromermaidskincare.com and check out Sybil Bailey. And if you reach out to her, let her know you heard about her on Brothers Learning from Sisters. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow Coach Mike D everywhere on social media. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise.